If I showed you that,
That's the picture I was on about.
that photo there, if I showed you that, what does that mean to Andrew Flintoff?
What I was just talking about before, that's everything. That's everything. You know, it's after we've won the Ashes, but then you mentioned at the start of this, like, can you imagine all them years ago?
Yeah.
I'm sat with my best mate. I've been, you know, the only one missing is Keezy.
Yeah.
If Keezy were in that picture, it'd be perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you talk about the Ashes and that little urn that you play for that's that big. That's all well and good, but that means more to me than any of it, you know.
It wasn't plain sailing though. You go into that first Test match. You admitted after the first Test match that because it was your first Ashes Test match, you froze a little bit.
I did freeze, yeah. There's no two ways about it.
How did you get out of that?
Well, building up to it, I was going all right. You know, I'd performed well for a period of time. I think we all had. And then, you know, it's the first time everyone was expecting something, I think, for a long time. But then you look at the Australian side, it was almost a privilege to play against them because they were incredible, weren't they? You know, every one of them, you know, from Warney, bless him, to Hayden and Langer and Ponting and Gilchrist, it was all stars. And although I think in our dressing room, we always played it down, didn't we? It was like, we're here to compete, but quietly confident. I'm not sure we was as confident. And then that first test, everyone's expecting me to do something because I'd done it. And bowling, you know, I remember your first over when you hit Langer, and there's a tension in the ground. There's a different feel to it. You know, I'm at slip, and
it was at Lords though. It was a different feel.
But I was like, I was jittery, and I just used to stand at slip with my hands on my knees. And I'm like, I'm jittery, and then you hit Ponting in the head, and he's bleeding on the face, and then nobody went to him. I think it was different then. You didn't anyway.
No, you didn't.
But then also, I think it was shock. It was like, hang on, I'm just hit Ponting on face. See, what do? We didn't expect that. And then you started well. And then I came on to bowl, and I got a wicket early.
Yeah, I caught it.
I celebrated.
Yeah, no.
I thought that's great.
I've seen the video of that again, and I've seen it on the big screen. I was thinking, he was confident. I got
my hands out, you know. It's about
everything that you were feeling at slip, I was feeling at square leg, thinking, why am I on earth at square leg? And then when I went up in the air, I was like,
that's why.
Yeah.
But I was charged. My eyes had gone, and although I was bowling all right, I was bowling on adrenaline.
Yeah.
And there was that first innings, wasn't there, against Gilchrist, where I'd always done well to the left-handers. I always start over and then come round, and I came round to him, and he got me away a few times for four, and he got one over the slips, and I nearly went back over. It was like, no, stick in, and I thought, nah, he's got me here, but I just thought I'm just staying here, and then got him out, and then that played a big part in the series against Gilchrist. But it was the batting. I went out to bat that first time, and I was sat in my chair, and I was like, cause I wouldn't say I was relaxed before I batted, but I wouldn't get dressed till I was next in. And I'd be sat in the back room with you or watching telly, and I'd sit on the balcony. I was just sat in my chair, I didn't know what to do. And your name gets read out, and you're like, oh, hang on, Nick, expect me to do something here. And Glenn McGrath's bowling all right. And he bowled me with a ball which I don't think I'd ever have hit, but that wasn't really the point. It was how I felt. And then the second innings, when one got me out, even worse. You know, I was shaking before I batted. I couldn't move. And then I sat in my chair in the dressing room afterwards, like we all had our spots. Can't even remember what happened after that. I think Vonnie might have spoke. I genuinely don't know.
I can't remember. I think that's one of the only grounds that me and you never sat next to each other.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went, we sat in the same spot. But Lords, you were over there and I was over there.
I waited years for that chair by the door.
Yeah.
I got Craig White out, and then I got in. But yeah, and then after that Test match, it's not very professional, or probably not the way you go about it. I went to Devon for a break with Rachel and Holly.
But Turan, you know, talk about, you know, you're well documented. You've talked about sort of problems with like weight and going up and down and lifestyles and everything that goes with it. But being a cricketer during that time was, I'm not trying to defend it, but we were like spending 250 to 300 nights in hotel beds. I mean, the menus weren't the greatest. We didn't have our own chef. It was very, very difficult to not stay professional. I'm trying to defend the way we behave.
I'm quite philosophical about it. Is that you look back, and I shudder at some of the stuff we did, or we ate, or we drank.
Right.
But then actually looking at it from now, it's quite easy to do that because now it's so professional, and you coach these lads, and they're different. you know, you get the Lions, we get a chef. You know, I've got to be careful, don't put weight on because his food's amazing. But you got a chef, you got nutritionists. I'm not saying we didn't have one then, but not to the point now.
Can you remember when he came to the Oval and he said, we had a nutritionist, and his opening line was, "I won the Premier League with Chelsea last year." Me and you sat next to each other going, "You play centre half."
Well, I remember one who was like psychologist. He told me to imagine a carrot to Mars bar. I said, "I can't do it, man. I can't do that."
Remember that?
I've got a good imagination, but that's pushing it. You know what I
He
mean?
took over from Steve Bull, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't even know who it
Imagine a
was.
carrot to Mars bar.
Yeah.
You know, we could have a box of carrots, please.
Well, it was different, wasn't it? And you look back, but that's just how it was.
Yeah.
And you know, I went down to Devon after that test match, and I didn't train. I didn't pick a bat up. No, I went for lunch and went for walks.
But you knew it wasn't your game. You knew it was psychology. It was in the head.
It all was.
Yeah.
It all was, all the way through my career. It was all in my head, because if I was on it, I felt I could do anything. If I wasn't, I felt I could do nothing. And I realised actually, too late in my career, the actual opposition don't even matter. It's me against me. And it depends which one won.
The opposition mattered at Edgbaston though in the next test match, because you did turn up. And that was probably your best test match. Going to the end of it, that photograph with Brett Lee, we'll talk about photographs, but that one with Brett Lee, that said a lot about not just you and Brett, but about cricket as well. Yeah. That series.
Well, that test, or when I was in Devon, I sat with Chubby, who was the agent at the time, in the wine cellar, and we were just chatting about all sorts, and he was like, "What are you going to do then?" So I did see a sports psychologist, but then more importantly, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to have a go. Yeah. You know, I can't do what I did last week. I'm just going to have a go, and if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. And then we batted first, and Trez was incredible, wasn't it? I think he hit 12 off the first over, and we got 400.
Even Strauss, he was hitting sixes.
Yeah, until he tried to kick one.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't enjoy bowling. He didn't enjoy batting against Warner, did he?
No, but like, to get off the mark, I decided actually the first opportunity to hit a six, I'm taking it. And Warney lobbed one up. And I went, but then slightly backed out. And he just went over Kaspovic's finger at mid-off. Went for 4 and if he'd have caught that, I was done. But then after that, I was away, and it was one of them times when you're batting and you just think, this is brilliant. I was playing shots I didn't know I could play. And we went through that test, and obviously it went down to the wire, and I thought we'd lost. And I didn't want to come off bowling, but you came on. And then, I can't even remember how many runs it was, but you got clattered out to the sweeper.
4 to win, Simon was out there.
He smacked one out, and I thought, well, that's that then. No. I was a fielder. And then when you got fair play to you, there's 2 things in that game. One was that slower ball,
which was the worst in the history of the game.
Well, I remember standing at slip, right, and I know you're a slower ball, and this is the reason I never bowl one, because I couldn't do it. And yours was, and you're running in, and I've seen you jump. I've watched you so many times before, and I saw the fingers go wide, and I go, "What's he doing?" No, I've come up from slip now. I don't need to be down here. And then he's missed it. Like, that's a great idea. It's like amazing. That was incredible. And then when you got Kaspovic out, you know, I spoke about this before, is that one of the things about it is you got taught as kids, didn't you? You know, 2 things: respect the umpire. If you nick it, walk, which I never did. And the other, respect the opposition. But you got taught that as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I got there.
Because you were the first one to shake his hand.
But I wasn't focused.
You don't know where the cameras are now.
Exactly.
Look at you now, look at all these cameras. And then just went over, and it was nothing profound. It was, I quite like Brett Lee.
Yeah.
You know, we tried to knock him out. He runs in every day. We tried to hit him. We tried to get him out, and he just kept coming back. And it was just like, man, oh, he deserves that type of thing. We'll see you next week. But then that picture gets taken,
and you talk about that picture I've just shown you. You said if you could go back to that dressing room at the end, Aussies had been in and out, the celebrations we had, if we could bottle that.
Oh, I'd do it every night.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was an amazing, I know the stories of the celebrations, but that feeling when you've walked off and you've won it for the first time in 20 years, knowing that dressing room that you were in, of, you know, Atherton, Hussain, Gough, Stewart, all these have never won the Ashes.
Yeah.
And we've done it for the first time against the ones that had just walked out, Ponton here and all these lot.
I think, I don't know about you, I don't know if magnitude is the right word, but it seemed massive at the time.
Yeah.
And because in between test matches, in the grounds I got a sense of, yeah, this is big, obviously, because the crowd were amazing. Playing in England is like better than anywhere in the world, isn't it? You know, playing abroad is nice, but playing in England it's incredible. And because I'd go away in between test matches, so I went down to Devon, went to the south of France in between another one, or just shut my door at home. So I was not one who was looking at the press all the time or getting a sense of it or switching the television on and watching. I just watched my own stuff.
Yeah.
And then when we came off at the Oval, it was bittersweet really. One is that I didn't want it to end. I wanted another game next week.
Yeah.
I wanted the series to last forever because it was so much fun. But then I think the enormity of it hit me. You know, I remember walking round and with you, and you look around and you just saw people's faces, how happy they were, and the euphoria. And then I remember like I couldn't stop moving in the dressing room. I was just like I was buzzing. You know, I couldn't stop. It was like no feeling I've ever had before. Probably, well, through professional sport. And then the Aussies came in and ruined it.